Imagine this. You're chatting with a 5-year-old, just making small talk. Out of curiosity, you ask, "Do you remember what was like inside mommy's belly?" You expect a funny answer like, "It was squishy," or "It was dark." But instead, the child looks at you seriously and says, "It was very dark. No sound, no light. Before that, I lived in a tall building with many other children. One day, someone told me, 'Your family has found you. It's time to go.'" Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But what if it's not? Today, I want to share with you a phenomenon called womb memory. In Japan, they call it Tanai Kyoku. It means memories from before you were born. Some say it's proof of reincarnation. Others dismiss it as a child's imagination. But after hearing today's stories, you might start to wonder if it's more than just make-believe. A few years ago, on a flight to Tokyo, I sat next to an elderly Japanese man. What started as casual conversation soon turned into one of the most fascinating stories I've ever heard. He told me about a 5-year-old boy from Osaka. One day, the boy's mother casually asked him, "Do you remember what was like in mommy's tummy?" She expected a silly answer, but the boy replied seriously,
"It was very dark. Very quiet. Nothing there."
Curious, his mother asked, "So, how did you get into mommy's tummy?" What the boy said next froze her in place.
"Before I came here, I lived in a very tall building. There were many toys in my room.
The boy continued.
I was already this big, about 4 years old, not a baby."
He said there were 2 other children in that building. None of them knew what they were waiting for, until one day they received a letter. The letter said, "Your family has found you. You will become part of a 5-person family. It's your turn." The boy said it felt like being chosen. Not by luck, not by fate, but by choice. Then a man appeared. The boy couldn't see his face. He held a brown bag and waved a wand, signaling it was time to go. As the boy started walking, he felt himself getting smaller and smaller until he was small enough to enter a dark tunnel. And here's where it gets strange.
Inside the tunnel, it was pitch black. But I could smell cake. And I smelled takoyaki, those octopus balls. Oh yeah. I heard people singing happy birthday to mommy.
His mother's face turned pale, because right before his birth, it was indeed her birthday. Friends had gathered, they had cake, takoyaki, and sang happy birthday to her. But no one had ever told the boy about this. But the boy wasn't finished. He said the other 2 children in that building had tried going down before, but were sent back. This time it was his turn. Years later, the family did become a 5-person family, just like the letter had said. The elderly man finished the story, leaned back, and said softly, "I don't know if you believe it. In Japan, we call this Tanai Kyoku. Some memories come from before birth. This isn't an isolated case. In California, a mother shared her own experience. Her daughter was just 2 years old, when one day she suddenly said,
"Mommy, you can have a baby now."
The mother laughed it off, but for the next 3 days, the little girl kept saying,
"Mommy has a baby in your tummy."
She even drew a picture of her future little sister. A week later, the mother visited the doctor for a routine check. To her shock, she was pregnant. Months later, when they found out the baby's gender, it was indeed a girl. When they told the doctor, he smiled and said, "This happens more often than you think. Science can't explain it, but sometimes kids just know." Another story comes from a mother in the UK. One day, her 3-year-old son suddenly said,
"Mommy, I chose you."
She asked him why. The boy looked at her and said, "Because your smile was so warm. I knew you would take good care of me." That simple sentence left her speechless. She had never thought about it that way. She always believed having children was destiny. But in that moment, her son's words made her wonder if perhaps children choose their parents, not the other way around. At this point, skeptics will say, kids are just creative. They pick up things from TV, books, or casual conversations. It's all coincidence. But what about the details? The birthday cake, the smell of takoyaki, the prediction of a 5-person family. Can all of these really be dismissed as coincidence? This brings us to a deeper question. Is life truly random? Or did we choose this path long before we were born? Did we choose our parents? Did we decide when and where to be born? Or is this just a comforting fantasy? We tell ourselves to make sense of the unknown. Do you believe in womb memory? Or do you think this is just children's wild imagination? Maybe the Creator is letting time and space tell us the answers, little by little, until we understand. Have you ever felt an uncanny sense of déjà vu? Meeting someone for the first time, yet feeling like old friends? Visiting a place you've never been, but it feels so familiar? Maybe it's just your brain playing tricks. Or maybe it's a fragment of a memory from long, long ago, before you ever took your first breath. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you've heard similar stories, share them too. I'd love to hear more. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves mysteries like this. Because sometimes the greatest mysteries of all happen before we're even born.